My name is Sam Piazza. I'm responding to Anastasia's claim of Section 1 of the 14th Amendment is detrimental to the U.S. and it should be changed. Well, her three supporting claims in no particular order that she said in her speech is the annual cost of educating children of illegal immigrants, the cost of the individual illegal household of the government annually, and the Section 1 leads to immigration. Well, now for her first supporting claim that I put as annual cost of educating children of illegal immigrants. Well, keeping undocumented immigrants from higher education only increases the number of illegal immigrants willing to work unskilled, underpaid jobs. From the crash course in citizenship, for most illegal immigrants, there is no hope for getting out of poverty. The bans some states have passed that kept undocumented students from attending schools or colleges only hurt the American economic growth. The implied argument of not wanting illegal aliens to attend school or college because of the lack of funding is an excuse. Undocumented students who have spent most of their lives in America overcoming poverty and hardship and still want to get a good education deserve to continue their learning. The amendment states no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges of communities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive of any person's life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the limit, the equal protection of the laws. Yes, illegal alien children do cost, what Anastasia said, $28.6 billion a year in the whole nation, but without those illegal children going to school, the schools will have less money to work with for the other natural-born citizens. It is not the children's fault from where their parents came from. If he or she wants to get an education, he or she should be deemed one. It is not fair for the children to suffer for their parents' action. Changing the 14th Amendment will take away the right of an American education. Now to her second supporting claim, well, my second, but what do you call it? She says the cost of individual legal household to the government annually, like welfare, Medicaid, or Social Security, something like that. Anastasia states that illegal families contribute to $10.4 billion in net cost, and an anchor baby older than 21 years of age can petition their families to become an American citizen. With each household making $2,700, she says, and an average of 4 or 5 people in each family household, then I could extrapolate that number and make up that $10.6 billion of net cost in a matter of years back. Also, Anastasia states that anchor babies and families do not contribute back to getting all their welfare. But quoted from the Center of Immigration Studies, our findings show that many of perceived notions about fiscal impact of illegal households turn out to be inaccurate. In terms of welfare use, receipts of cash assistance programs tend to be very low, while Medicaid use, though significant, is significantly higher than that of the rest of the population. Also, on contrary to only use of food assistance programs is significantly higher than the rest of the population. Also, contrary to the perception that illegal aliens don't pay payroll taxes, we estimate that more than half of the illegals work on the books. On average, illegal households pay more than $4,200 a year in all forms of federal taxes. So, many supporters of immigration argue that because of such a large portion of the recent immigrants are young, it is likely that they will actually produce significant benefits for our Social Security system. Specifically, since the elderly population of the U.S. is growing considerably each year, that the Social Security system will need more workers to help support these retirees. Immigrants will provide the help for many years to come because they tend to be much younger than the U.S.-born workers. Economists use the dependency ratio to illustrate this point. The ratio is calculated by adding the total number of people who are under age 18 with the letter A, with the number of persons 65 or older with the letter B, divided by the number of people between ages 19 and 64 with the letter C. The first two groups, A plus B, represents population who generally do not work. The last group, C, is the group who has to support the other two. A high dependency ratio is bad while the low number is good. With more immigrants working, the lower the ratio, the more Social Security revenue will be generated, and the less U.S.-born workers will have to pay into Social Security. In fact, some argue that if immigration is significantly reduced, the more likely the Social Security system will go bankrupt because there won't be enough workers to support the growing elderly population in the U.S. So, with this information, it shows that changing the 14th Amendment, or Section 1, will not solve anything dealing with welfare and cost of living. To solve the welfare problem that Anastasia was talking about is to have more stricter welfare laws. Regulating welfare will help things, not change the 14th Amendment. Now to her last point, she says Section 1 leads to immigration. Yes, that might be true, but that is what our nation is all about. Diversity, opportunity, and to be free. Although academics try very hard, this question of immigrants contribute to the U.S. is inherently very difficult to answer because there are so many ways to measure cost versus benefits. We can always refer back to the history to find out which old-fashioned American culture artifacts have immigrant roots. As one example in this book, A Different Mirror, A History of Multicultural America, Ronald Takaki writes, the signs of America ethnic diversity can be discerned across the continent. Chinatown, Harlem, South Boston, the Lower East Side, places with Spanish names like Los Angeles, San Antonio, or Indian names like Massachusetts or Iowa. Much of what is familiar in America's cultural landscape actually has ethnic origins. The Bing cherry was developed by an early Chinese immigrant named Ah Bing. The 49ers of the Gold Rush learned mining techniques from the Mexicans. American cowboys acquired their herding skills from Mexican vaqueros and adopt their range terms such as lariat from lareta, lasso, like a lasso from lazo, and stampede from estampida. Songs like God Bless America, Easter Parade, and The White Christmas were written by a Russian Jewish immigrant named Israel Balin, more popularly known as Irving Berlin. While immigrants have certainly left their cultural mark on America's head, for most people, the issues always come back down to dollars and cents. So, changing the 14th Amendment won't really.